Right, firstly, I'm going to show you in this spreadsheet to begin with, it's a one-to-one relationship. For this, I'm going to use an example of people, a people table and an address table. The example I'm going to go through here is, imagine if you were doing a database that had a list of all the houses in the country, for example, and you wanted to know who owned that house. And we're going to make an assumption that only one person will be on the lead name and the lead registry for a house. Okay, so that's one person can have one house. We'll just assume that you can't own another one. Obviously we know you can, but for this example we'll just go with that. And one house can only ever be owned by one person. Alright, there might be a situation that could happen in, but we'll take a look at it, decide if it ever could. Now, we'd start off with a database. Obviously we need our primary key. We've talked about this before. You have to have a primary key. In this case, and we're going to call it person ID for the person table. We've got forename and last name. Now, what we're going to do this time is we're going to have another table here, which I've already got. And in this table, we're going to have all the address details. Now, we need a primary key in this as well. And it's slightly different to what we might have looked at before. Instead of having an address primary key, what we're going to just do is have the person ID again in this as a primary key. And we link the two primary keys together. So this person here, Eddie Jones, owns this house, and that primary key is going to be unique. They can't own any other houses, so we link that together. This person, Sam Robertson, we say owns this house, and that's how those two link together. So it's actually a one-to-one relationship. Now, obviously, if you look at it, we don't really need this here. We can remove it, and what we can do is just put all of that into one table. So generally, you don't see many one-to-one relationships. What happens if you have got a one-to-one relationship in most databases is you actually just put it all in the same table, and that's probably something you're going to be doing. Okay, but a one-to-one relationship is where you have one object can only have one of the other entity that it's relating to. So in this case, we're saying one person can only own one house, and one house can only ever be owned by the one person. Now, obviously, as I said, that's not a strictly true good example, but we'll use that just for this example. You could maybe give an example of one person can only ever marry one person as well, and vice versa. Could think of other examples if you want. Do a little research on the internet, you might be able to find a better example than the one I've given, but as long as you can show that this is a one-to-one relationship in this scenario and explain how it works, that will be fine.